Hello, this is David Papa, the personal injury guru. And on my show today, I'm going to have a guest, and he is Dr. Stan Pierce. He has an amazing new technology, and it's called Epic. And he is going to discuss it with you. It's a type of new technology that can help people who just can't get rid of headaches, neck pain, back pain, and he can cure all sorts of ailments. It's just something that I'd rather have him discuss, so I will let him do that when it's time. But it's important to know that I've also been a patient of his, and that's why I believe in this technology. He's also had one of the sharks from Shark Tank actually approach him, and they now help him and they endorse him, and he teaches at colleges, and he is traveling all over the world with this new technology. And it's something that everyone should be able to at least be educated on. It is very important that if you're listening to this podcast on an audio podcast platform, that you also see this visually, so go to YouTube. Very important to see this visually because of this type of technology that we're introducing to you today. The Personal Injury Guru Show starts now.
This is the Personal Injury Guru Show with attorney David Papa.
Welcome back to the Personal Injury Guru Show. And of course, I'm David Papa. And today I have a special guest, and he is Dr. Stan Pierce. And he has new technology that you simply have to see to believe. And I've been a client and a patient of his, I should say, before. And he fixed me, and I've had several members of my family and close friends that have also come here. So without further ado, Dr. Stan Pierce.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Tell everybody about this technology. This is quite amazing.
I have one of the best jobs in the world, actually, because this technology is not only cutting edge, it's the most effective technology the profession's ever seen. So what this is an advanced way of correcting spinal alignment. It's very important that when people have been in a car accident that they realize the nature of the injuries. They not only include soft tissue injuries, but also hard tissue. So for example, somebody sprains their ankle, and if it's a simple ankle sprain, then the injuries will heal within 6 to 8 weeks. Everyone knows this. However, if it's an ankle sprain plus a dislocation of the ankle, then that could cause it to linger and linger for many years. So it's very critically important that no matter what nature of injury you have, that you have structure realigned accurately so the soft tissue injuries will heal.
And this is more of a structural technique that takes care of the structural issues and prevents long-term problems that a lot of people can't fix.
Yeah, actually a lady that we started up yesterday, she said, I've never been the same since that car accident I've had 10 years ago. Right. I mean, I've been in practice for 20 years. I hear this all the time, and it's so sad because people expect my insurance will help get me better, my doctors will help get me better, and then when they're not getting better, they're frustrated, they get depressed, they get discouraged, and most importantly, they just don't get their quality of life back. So they can't overcome the issue, and they keep always being affected from that old accident. And there's no settlement amount of money that's going to give you your quality of life back. You've actually got to get to the root cause and correct it accurately.
And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been in practice for 20 years, actually a little over 20 years now, and I'm a fourth generation chiropractor. Yeah, so my family knew the founders of the profession, and as I was going through the chiropractic curriculum of school, I became a little disenchanted, we'll say, with a few elements, one of them being I didn't like the forceful adjusting. If you could, I thought if you could be more gentle, why wouldn't you? I also did not like how when we would adjust people, it would never hold. It would never stay in place. You had to continue to keep adjusting people 3 times a week for a long time, and I didn't have that experience growing up. I thought if we could get it corrected accurately and it could hold in place, that would be much better. And then the other part of it is I appreciate this technology especially because in the curriculum of the school there was always discussions about taking the joints to the end range of motion and then beyond.
Right.
And it's always the beyond that scares people. People don't like getting their necks cracked. It scares them. Yeah, right. It scares them, and rightfully so. Even though it's a safe profession and there's very minimal injuries that have occurred from that type of procedure, it's not intuitive to people that that's safe for them. Whereas this is done in normal ranges of motion, it's very safe and effective. But in the background of this technology, this is relatively new to the profession.
Right.
Sound wave alignment of the spine, which we use a sound wave to deliver the adjustment, It's very gentle, very accurate, but the sound wave technology has been around since the 70s. Right? Around the 70s. And so it's tried and true in regards to it's got proven outcomes to it. However, the innovations and upgrades to this level of utilization is quite new. In fact, we received the patent on the instruments. We're the inventors on the patent. We received the patent this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Long overdue.
Yes, sir.
Long
yes,
overdue.
Sir.
And also, if you could tell us a little bit about some of the accolades that you've been receiving and the people you've joined up with in this technology.
Well, when you're breaking the mold in healthcare, you have lots of people that will oppose that.
Right.
Because you're challenging the status quo, and along with that, people's business models, their income models, you may threaten that. So, for example, even when I say if you could get corrected and have your alignment hold, requiring less visits, from the patient's perspective, they love that because they're actually getting corrected. From the ethical perspective of doctoring, I love that because you're going to recover. But from the monetary side of that, if we're correcting you that well and you don't have to come in as often, well, the business may not make as much money off of you. That doesn't bother me because people refer like crazy.
Right.
They send everybody because they're getting better.
Yeah, I agree.
But from the system's perspective of money generation from your business model, we get a lot of opposition to that. Fortunately, though, some of the upper leadership in chiropractic is seeing the future of what we're creating for this profession through progressive technology.
That's awesome.
So we've had the presidents of numerous chiropractic colleges embracing what we're doing, bringing this treatment's called EPIC, bringing EPIC into their curriculum. So I'm a professor at 3 different chiropractic colleges. We teach this to the next generation of chiropractors. That's one of my big passions.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
That's great.
So much fun. And we also became the first chiropractic technique ever to be published in the Orthopedic and Rheumatology Open Access Journal. That was in March of 2021.
Which deserves a dramatic pause because that is quite the feat.
Yes. Yeah, it was also, and a fascinating part of it too, besides the fact that they did peer review and did publish us, was the editor-in-chief of the journal is now a massive fan of EPIC. Great. Massive fan of it. And it's good because you're creating better collaboration between the medical industry and the chiropractic industry, because the medical industry sees that we are safe, we're effective, we have provable outcomes, and it works on everyone. And they love being able to refer to that type of quality. Right. Regardless of whether we're a chiropractor or not, because you always have political frictions and personality issues, they love referring people to our results.
Oh, that's awesome. And also, a lot of people watch Shark Tank. And you might as well throw that out there because that's impressive.
Well, yes, that was quite interesting when we got contacted by the franchise team for one of the sharks from Shark Tank that they'd heard about our results.
Right.
And actually, the interesting part of the results was there was a 9-year-old girl who had walked pigeon-toed, where her toes are facing each other. She'd walked pigeon-toed her whole life. And nobody could help her. The medical field told her that we're going to have to break your hips, your femurs, your thigh bones, and then we're going to have to straighten them, put a rod in there, and cast you, full body cast, for a year in order for you to get over this issue. So the girl's freaked out.
Of course.
Her dad's panicked, what do I do? And we get the opportunity to work on the girl. We evaluated her and found that her primary problem was her upper neck was out of alignment, making everything twist, which is extremely common, by the way. Most people have that situation going on and don't know it. So they're treating all the effects, never the primary cause. And so with this girl, we got her corrected with her accurate numbers from her x-rays. And within about 5 minutes, her feet were 30% straighter. Within 4 days, she was walking completely straight. Right down our hallway, and she's like, I'm a normal girl, I'm a normal girl. And we're all crying because of how beautiful it is. Right. Well, they got this video over to one of the sharks from Shark Tank, and he said, what is this? So we have franchised now and have this expanding and growing, and it's a real honor to be able to disseminate this technology to the nation and eventually to the world.
Well, that's great, and that just goes to show the credibility behind EPIC. It's really something. And I'd like to ask you to tell the people, when they first come to your office, you had mentioned x-rays, of course. Mm-hmm. So kind of tell people, once they arrive here, what the expectation is prior to having you work with EPIC on them.
That's okay, great question. Yeah, because if I'm a patient, I want to know what's the process.
What's the process?
And is it comfortable? Is it awkward? This is a patient-centric practice, meaning you're not a number. This is not a system you just run through. We have our sequence of protocols, but you never feel like a number at this place, and you never will feel like a number in an Epic clinic. So what you do is you come in for a consultation, and we review your background and history, ask you what injuries you've had, what issues you're dealing with, and basically how can we help you. Then we'll do an examination with you and find out whether you're a candidate for this care or not. It's a neurophysical exam. It's not painful. And we test different muscle groups, and it's very eye-opening for the patient. You will know within a 10-minute examination whether or not you need this. And if you don't need this, you will find we are extremely happy for you, because that means your alignment is not off, your nervous system's working right, your blood flow to your head is normalizing and working the way it should be, and we're happy about that. We don't want you actually to need care, which may seem counterproductive to a business. That's okay, because I've only found in 20 years, people over the age of 18, I've only found 4 people that when we did a first evaluation on them, were not out of alignment. Almost everybody has the malalignment in the upper neck, and they have no idea.
Right.
They have no idea. So once the examination determines that you're a candidate for this, which will be very obvious to both you, your family members in the room, and us, then we send you for x-rays. We take an x-ray through the front, through the side, and through the top, and then we import that digital x-ray into our computer software system, where we study you with a spinal engineering software program. And we measure all the uniquenesses of who you are. We measure how your bones are shaped. We measure how your bones are misaligned, which direction, how many degrees. We can even tell from the x-rays how long ago this started, which always amazes people when you say, actually, this started 10 years ago, and here's the evidence of that, and you'll understand this. But then when we take the x-ray information, we can calculate your exact degree for correction. There's no guessing, there's no experimenting, there's no trying, there's no feeling around and thinking, maybe we should do this. This is engineering. It's exact science. So we take your degree from the x-rays, calibrate it into the adjusting machine, lay you on your side, which we'll demonstrate maybe in just a moment what that would look like, and then with a single sound wave, we instantly realign the vertebrae where they belong. It's gentle, it's accurate, and it always works.
Wow. And see, that's the amazing part of this technology, is that it is so accurate and it does work. I mean, myself, I've been through this, and I was so surprised, not surprised, I would say, I was excited and relieved that it worked, because I couldn't get relief from any other type of a doctor. So when I came here with headaches and having problems with my neck, the pain went away, the headaches went away. So I've sent family members here. And again, I think this technology is incredible. So why don't we bring Lisa up, and she can you can adjust her and show everyone how it's actually performed.
So you would have a seat right here. So we're assuming from this discussion right now that Lisa has already been examined, that she is found to need the treatment, and that we already have her x-rays taken, and we've already calculated her angles for correction. So then we would lay her on her side on this table. Good. And there would be a lot of detailed precision to this if this were going to be a real adjustment. We're kind of just going to do a demonstration for you. You can see that she's moving her head around trying to get a little comfortable. So the only part of this adjustment is the pillow you lay on is a little bit firm. Besides that, there's no pain or fear whatsoever with this. So we would position her head on the table. We would have her coordinates, so stay right there if you can. We would have her coordinates that we would put into the instrument, and we would angulate the machine according to what her degrees are, and then we would bring it over her neck. And it would be just off the skin, so it doesn't actually poke into the skin. And then we would press this button, which I don't know that she needs to be adjusted today. We're just doing a demonstration. So we would press this button, though, and just so you guys can hear what it sounds like, that's it. Just one click with the sound wave, and it slides the vertebrae in place. And then the patient would sit up, and we would reevaluate them to make sure everything was releasing. Their entire spine would be untwisting and responding immediately to this. And then we would send her for a post x-ray. And the post x-ray would allow us to remeasure and make certain everything corrected properly, which is unheard of in chiropractic.
Right.
But it's part of our standard. And Epic is recreating the standard for this profession.
And so everyone understands too, the importance of this isn't just so Dr. Pierce can promote and move ahead with this, because it's moving ahead. It's a train. It's on the tracks, it's going. It's for you to be able to have an option, have an opportunity to come here and see how this works for yourself if you're having headaches, neck pain, different issues going on that you can't resolve with traditional health care. And it's important because I did. And again, for me to do this, I was concerned and I had asked the same questions that Dr. Pierce just answered. It's painless, and really, it's a puff. You don't feel anything, and you're like, well, how can that work? Well, it does. And the only thing I can really attribute it to is like the science of when you have a kidney stone. I had a kidney stone once, and they said, well, boy, it's too big to pass. And I'm like, well, what do I do now? And they put a machine up against you, and they say they blast the kidney stone. It's just a puff. You don't really feel too much, but the technology, like Doc says, has been around for 50 years. And using it in this manner is amazing because it gets to places in your neck where obviously regular physical, chiropractic manipulation can't.
Right, and the sound wave technology also, it's very easy to understand for people because everyone knows that the ability to communicate
right
is me sending sound wave through the air, down your ear canal, moving your soft tissue eardrum, which is connected to some hard tissue bones inside your ear, and your bones then tell the nerves to the brain that they are hearing something. So sound wave moving bones, we knew this when we were a baby in our mother's womb. We could hear her voice, her sound wave would move the bones of our inner ear, and we learned that's communication. So using sound wave to move bones, that's natural and normal. I think what's most interesting for me is even though the chiropractic profession is a very safe profession overall, I think what's interesting for me is watching people who have tried to get better. They've gone to their appointments with their chiropractor or their physical therapist or whoever, and they've done what they're supposed to, but they're not getting the results they want. And they're frustrated. And they feel, at a minimum, that they deserve a second opinion. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I'm not telling you to switch over to our clinic, but it is a good idea once in a while to get a second opinion and see how your case is coming along and see if you're getting the results that are optimum for you. And if you're not getting the best results, well, you got to make a change. You got to try something different or add something on. And here we don't try, we evaluate, make sure that you need this, and then correct it. It is that simple.
Okay, tell everyone out there how they can find you, where we are right now, because we're in your office.
Right.
And that way folks can get in touch with you, give them your phone number and every other option you have.
Okay, great. So the clinic here is in Clearwater, Florida. It's 635 Court Street, Suite 200 in downtown Clearwater. The phone number is 727-223-9970. And you can look up the technology at epicclinics.com. And then we'll be happy to see you and just have a discussion to see how we can help you.
Very good. Well, folks, I had to bring this to you because it's exceptional. It's really amazing technology, and I just want to thank you, Doc.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
David.
it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And we'll be back on the Personal Injury Guru Show. Welcome back to the Personal Injury Guru Show. And today you have the opportunity and actually the pleasure to be able to see Epic through the eyes of its creator, who is Dr. Stan Pierce. And he went through it very clearly to discuss with you how he can help you. And the phrase that really caught my eye, or my ear I should say, is when he said, you deserve a second opinion. And folks, everyone that has been injured in an accident does deserve a second opinion. And in this case, this technology is real. It works. And the most important thing, of course, according to Dr. Stan Pierce, is your health. So if you come here, he will be more than happy to evaluate you and help you in any way he can. He has a great technology. It's been supported nationally. He has figures from Shark Tank to colleges and universities having him come and speak. He's done it all. And it's very, very impressive technology, so don't be afraid to give him a shout and come down here and see him. And if you like this podcast, hit like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. If you have any ideas for my show in the future, give me a shout. You can always reach me at papainjurylawyer.com, or just Google me at Papa Injury Lawyer or Papa Injury Law, and you will see me, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Call me at 727-500-LAWS, L-A-W-S, which is 5297. And of course, very important, on an audio platform, you might be listening to me on Apple, YouTube, Google, or Spotify, but don't be afraid to get onto that YouTube and see this thing in person. You don't want to miss it, because audio is one thing, but visual on this type of technology is very important. So I appreciate you joining us today, and we appreciate Dr. Stan Pierce and all that he has done, and we will look forward to seeing you in the future on the Personal Injury Guru Show.